As we can see from this graph, uh, provided from the CDC, we can see that drug-related fatalities have been substantially increasing over the years and are now at an all-time high, clocking in over with 109,000 deaths last year off of opioid overdoses alone. Opioid misuse and addiction throughout a community can severely harm it in many ways, such as increasing crime rates, harming the economy, and harming personal relationships as well. All of this information has led me to my question. To what extent does America's opioid crisis impact the real estate in areas more affected? Hi, my name is Colby Alden, and I will be discussing how opioid addiction and misuse within a community directly correlates to the depreciation of property values in that community as well. My argument to this discussion is areas more affected by the opioid crisis damages the real estate. But how does this occur? Because it's not the opioids themselves that directly lower the property values within a community, it's the things that they attract. Things such as increase of homelessness, the use of corrupted money, and increase of crime are all leading factors on why property values depreciate within a community that struggles with opioid use. But it's also important that we dissect each of these reasons to figure out what they do and pinpoint exactly what they do to a community as well. To start off with homelessness. Homeless people can depreciate the property value within a community because they have irrational behavior, they strain available resources, and output a negative stigma. All of this meaning that people don't really want to be around areas with high amounts of homeless people present within them. Also meaning that people don't want to buy real estate in these areas as well. To prove this, a New York Times article comparing the prices of real estates that are closer to homeless shelters versus farther away, written by Ozzy Payabra, states, your home would most likely sell for less if you live within about 2 blocks of a shelter, when another is a few more blocks away. The city's independent budget office looked at sales in Manhattan and estimated that in such a situation, a homeowner would pay 24 to 25% less for a house than a resident farther from a shelter. So now that we have discussed how homelessness can depreciate real estate values within a community, how does opioid addiction lead to homelessness? Well, to start off with, drugs are expensive. So maintaining a drug addict's lifestyle does not come cheap. On top of this, drugs affect a person's mental state, making it hard to find a job. So with drug addicts spending a majority of their money on drugs and having no way to replenish their bank account, this is going to cause them to struggle paying for basic necessities such as food, shelter, and clothes. Both of these leading to the economic downfall of an addict, which is also furthering the addiction because many people use drugs as a way to cope with hard things going on within their life. A way that opioid misuse and addiction within a community can lower property values without being directly linked to addiction is through the use of corrupted money. And this stems from drug dealers and drug traffickers. Drug dealers and drug traffickers can easily profit off of the addiction. This is where they get all of their money from. And this is proven in a study conducted by Roger Bates, saying in June 2018, one dealer could charge $18,000 per month for an outlay from patients of only $500, increasing addiction and criminality far and wide. So with this now abundance of money that they have, they then use illegal schemes such as money laundering, which makes their money usable, raising no suspicions from the government. And then with all of this money, they will purchase luxury cars, luxury clothes, and luxury real estate. This goes hand in hand with real estate depreciation, because when the drug dealers or drug traffickers get caught, a lot of news press is flooded to their area of residence, causing a lack of privacy to occur in those areas and raising the negative stigma/perception. This is not good because if you're in the market for a luxury house and you're spending all this money, you want a place with a lot of privacy. You want a place that is not linked to illegal things such as money laundering, drug use, and drug dealing. So all of this is going to obviously lower the property values and real estate depreciation in that community. The last and final reason, it's a big one, is that opioid misuse and addiction within a community can depreciate the value of the homes, is because areas more affected by the U.S. opioid crisis having a substantial increase in crime. As talked about before, opioids is not directly opioids is not what causes the real estate to depreciate within a community. It's the things that they cause and also the people that they attract. People such as gangs, homeless, and drug dealers are all people highly affiliated with crime and can help lower the depreciate property values within a community. As seen from this diagram in the Roger Bates study, we can see the different ways that people obtain opioids, such as friends and family, overprescribing, through online, or drug dealers. And drug dealers are a main cause of the national distribution of drugs. And what proves this is in a study journal published in 2016, in a a journal published in 2016 called Journal Addictive Behaviors, they found that among individuals who use opioids non-medically, 27% of them obtained them from a drug dealer, and with an estimated 27 million Americans using opioids, that roughly translates to 7 million Americans obtaining opioids through drug dealers. Drug dealers and gangs go hand in hand, with the drug dealers often using gangs to distribute the drugs nationwide, and then the money funneling back up to the drug dealer. And drug dealers and gangs are associated with many illegal things such as vandalism, mass drug use, and violence. And many gangs will use precautionary acts of violence to make sure they get their money. And this is talked about by the United States Department of Justice about, stating specifically large street gangs readily employ violence to control and expand drug distribution activities, targeting rival gangs and dealers who neglect or refuse to pay extortion fees. So all this usually meaning that people don't really want to be around areas with high amounts of drug use, high amounts of drug dealers and gangs within. We can also see this in a graph sourced from Mother Jones, which is taking information straight from the FBI Uniform Crime Reporting Unit. And we can see as violent crimes increase, the resistance to buying a home is right with it, meaning people don't want to buy homes in areas that have a lot of crime within them. So some possible solutions to help battle the U.S. opioid epidemic is improving safe prescription practices, meaning pharmacies can be more careful on the dosage or what types of drugs they hand out to their patients that can help prevent further addiction in the future. Another one is practices of civil disobedience and moral courage, which is stated or defined by Ted Thomas in the College Board Stimulus as knowing when and how to disobey, which can be thought of as intelligent disobedience. And this can help battle peer pressure when you know it's not the right thing to do, or it can help you battle yourself when you know it's time to quit a drug and it's having too many harmful effects on your body and mental health. The last and final reason is expanding access to treatment. So it's important to have more rehabilitation centers across the nation that are more focused on helping and people recover from opioid addiction, so we can help battle the U.S. opioid epidemic. These are my works cited. Thank you for listening.
All right, 2 questions for you. First up, how valid and reliable were the sources that you used, and then how do you know they were?
So my sources were pretty valuable because I got all of them, well, most of them from peer-reviewed sources off the JSTOR, and the ones that I didn't, they came from government-funded agencies or websites such as the CDC or the Federal Department jurisdiction.
Okay, and what questions popped up to you as you were working your way through the research?
So when I was working my way through the research, I didn't see any examples of areas that recovered from the U.S. opioid epidemic and then relapsed, and I wanted to see how that would affect the real estate in those areas as well.